Is that nice? You like that? How are we going, everybody? This is Vader, if you know him. If you haven't met him before, he's our 1-year-old Italian Mastiff, and he's such a buffhead. Don't be deceived by his sweetness and his cuddles that he loves. That's how they are with us. And he could be here all day. I could do this all day. He will not move. And look, he's telling me, come on, do it again. That's how all dogs are anyway. All right, so I've been cleaning out here. Thank you for everybody who came yesterday down to the Yarra Valley Plant Fair. It was a great day. We had a great weekend. Saying hello, and I didn't realise how many people out there actually use our product. They all came up to the stand telling me, got everything, well, which is fantastic. Now, I came back home because we were away for a couple of days. And this is the last bed I've got to prepare. I've been cleaning it out this morning. I took out the garlic. We showed a couple of photos of those earlier on our posts. This bed here has gone a little bit sandy, so I need to get the body into it. It's great for growing garlic. It's light, so the bulbs can get a decent size, depending on the variety you're growing. You know, they're all about this size there. I did have some smaller ones, because I did not grow them all in this area. I grew some in this bed over here, and we should go there so I can show you how bad the soil is. I'm looking for a little garden fork. Doesn't matter, we'll take this. Let's go over there, and let me show you the soil. You can see we've got the broad beans doing really well. They're almost at the end of the cycle. We're going to harvest a lot of that in the next day or two. But because we've got so many plants in here, and I do have a habit of overplanting, we had broad beans there, we had garlic here, and some onions, torpedo onions, and this is our perpetual spinach. So I'm going to try and collect some seed. You don't need to keep so many flower heads on it like that. Just this one here for yourself will last you for the next 10 years. So all of that there, we'll see how much we can harvest and maybe put some on the line for you guys at home. Now this soil here, because of all those plants that we had growing in here, has gone really hard, and you can see how it's sunken down. When we first filled this bed up, it was up to here, right? We've lost about 4 to 6 inches almost in here. You can see the top sleeper completely, so we're only about 200 mil deep. This has got to get topped up, but we need to get the porosity back into the soil. Where has the soil gone? Well, with moisture, it gets absorbed up, and this here, see this here? This was soil once upon a time. It was compost, manure, mulch and all that stuff, and the plant's taking up all those beautiful nutrients through the microbes that break it down and have a synergy going on. Grows into that, soil disappears. That's a good thing. But what can also happen is, because we lost all our mulch, which broke down, it goes hard. Let me get another piece. I already broke that. So we're getting these little chunky bits like that. It'll break up, but it's not only the fact that it breaks up okay, the main problem is it's dry. There's no moisture retaining properties in it left. I hydrated this, and yeah, because we've got a lot of plants, they dry it out quicker, but still, in saying that, it shouldn't be so dry on the surface, especially when there aren't any more plants here, because I dug them up and I gave it light water, and you can see it does break down. Look, it just needs some manure, compost, and I'm putting some coconut coir in this as well so it can hold the moisture in, rather than water storage granules or crystals, which are gel-like. The cocoa coir is a byproduct, natural, it's organic, it's safe, it doesn't leach, it will retain up to 10 times its moisture. And I'll show you what I do with that, because there's 2 ways you can apply it. One is spread it on top of the soil, mix it through if you like. I've got some beds where I've actually just left it as a top dressing, mix it through the soil, that is, or mix it beforehand, like I'm going to do here in the barrow with my blood and bone, my black grit, my charcoal, and have it ready to add into a bed when I'm preparing one. Now folks, that bed there has dried out because the mulch on top has disappeared. Now if you don't mulch, the hot sun rays does dry out that soil really hard. It kills off the microbes, so it becomes inert. It becomes dead, lifeless. So you need to mulch. No matter what you're growing in your garden, mulching is always going to give it a better result, a much better growth rate, and overall the vitality in the soil is going to be more vibrant, so your plants will react a lot quicker with it. So this bed here hasn't been mulched because that was from the last season. I'm about to put a pathway in there with a bit of mulch in it, and I'm going to create my little, my little alcove, I suppose, or path that I go through there, snaking through my little veggie garden. It's in between companion planting, sort of edible garden planting, and row planting. So I'll have a few plants together, but not 100 of them at once. All right, let's get to this. This is my coconut coir, the coconut pith that I've hydrated earlier on. It comes in a big block. It's a 5 kilo block, and it swells out to give you approximately 70 litres in volume. That is like a potty mix, like two large bags of potty mix. But it first comes on in a big block, or it arrives in a big square block. So you can see that's the last of it there. It's been sitting in this wheelbarrow, careful there, with water, and it's absorbed, and this is the last part that I've just got to break down. And it breaks down to this beautiful fibre. Now, what I'm doing with this is, rather than just putting it straight into the garden bed, let me add a bit. See, that's what it sounds like when it's dry. Have a look at that. Okay, it's compressed block, hydrate, it swells out, and the rest is history. What I'm going to do with this is add my black grit, my charcoal, and a little bit of manure. Mix it all through here. Have it pre-mixed this time. So in essence, you could say this is Vasuli's little compost mix for watering, aerating, hydrating, and fertilising your garden bed, all in one. Now, the stuff's available at all leading garden centres, folks. It's been around for years. It's not something new. It's just not something that I've held in my hands in front of a camera. Well, not recently. Well, I have recently, but prior to recently, that is. So we use it readily, but it was something I thought everybody had in their garden already and took it for granted. So I'll just hydrate this, then we're going to add our ingredients. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of biochar charcoal. Right there. This helps the microbes, well, it inoculates with the microbes, and that's when all the wonderful magic starts to happen. So we put this into the garden and it stays there for almost forever. Charcoal's an amazing, amazing medium. Also adds porosity to the soil, gives life to the microbes. And this is something that you can actually make and plant into directly too, folks. So you add enough nutrients in and don't overdo it. It'll be perfect. Now, if you like these products and what we do here every day, folks, you'll find these on our website. Go to our website, vasulisgarden.com. We've got a great range of certified organic products, garden tools, seeds, whatever you like, kitchen herbs and spices. Shop online, they're all fantastic, great products, better prices every day, cheap enough. And your support there helps us continue doing what we do here. That is filming every day, producing this, and sending you a post. All right, so we've got the charcoal in. Now we'll add some black grit. Look at that, I've got a new one again. I get the smallest of containers, don't I? I'm on 20 acres. Look at this, I'm opening up a 1.5 container. Anyway, it's only for this little wheelbarrow now. Now, a handful per square metre. This will cover about 2 to 3 square metres, so 3 handfuls is what we're looking at. And it should be about 3 tablespoons, I suppose, 2 to 3 tablespoons. Okay, that's 1, 2. So when we do spread this out, it'll cover that large area that we're talking about. Mix it through now. Now I've just added 3 handfuls, folks, and that equates to approximately 9 tablespoons, depending on the size of your hand, because we're covering 3 square metres, and each square metre will take 3 to 4 tablespoons if it's a tree, or 2 to 3 tablespoons per square metre if they're veggies. And next we're going to add a little bit of chicken manure here. I'm not going to put a lot because this stuff is dry on top. There's a shovel. Oh, let me break it up first. But underneath it's a little bit moist. And I haven't turned it over enough to say that it's actually broken down enough. If you put too much chicken manure in your garden in one spot, folks, you can cause a bit of nitrogen leaching and burning. Yes, we've got the black grit in there, but it can't be everywhere instantly. So if there's any part of this manure that goes in direct contact with your plants before the black grit gets there, it can cause it to go backwards. So I reckon 1, 2, we'll see, about 2 shovels worth, maybe even, yeah, I reckon 2 should be good. 1, maybe 1.5, I reckon. That's all we need. It's not for the texture because we've got the coconut coir that's going to give us the porosity. It's just for the feeding of the microbes. We're going to breed them here. So now you can add, if you like, cow manure. I'm using chicken because we've got our own chickens. Sheep manure if you like. You can even put dynamic lifter and all the other stuff, but keep it natural, keep it organic, keep it real. There's enough rubbish in our lives. We don't need any more in our gardens. Can you hear that? It's 6:30. I haven't looked at the time yet. They're on time every time. The Corellas are on their way. 6:28. Well, they're not quite here yet. Here they come. They're going straight over my orchard. Now this bed here, folks, is going to be full of root system. So if I go to dig in here, and I've got the irrigation in the way too, just get this out of the way, peg it down for a second. Look at that, it's like rock under there. Oh God, look. Yeah, it's all roots and dry soil. For those who already planted their veggie garden, spring, summer garden, I'm really happy that you're succeeding and you got it in nice and early. For us, it's only just starting. We've only had the weekend we went to have rain, we didn't, so the forecast has been quite wrong this time round. It's been warmer than usual, well, from what they predicted. So spring is finally sprung and we're getting our veggies in. So the soil has warmed up. All this has to be dug over twice. I'm only doing this for a little demo. This is not going to be done like this, folks. I can't just plant into this little area and leave the broad beans in the middle like that with their roots popping out everywhere. Get this out of the way. See here, we've got all the little nitrogen nodules. All right, see all that stuff there? They get drawn in and are born on this plant here, and basically they're like water storage nodules or nitrogen storage balls, and the plant draws on that as it needs it. They're everywhere. See, so a healthy plant will have hundreds of these, if not thousands on them. We only got one little root on the side there. If I was to take these out, you'll see it all over sort of the crown of the root system there. That's fine, we can scrape them off and put them back into the garden. I reckon it does something for them, but we're not going to plant into this until we take all these out. But let's just get this ready so we can put the coconut coir and just break it up. Because this garden bed's so low, this will be about 1 square metre here actually, folks, because I've got to raise it. I'm not going to just raise it with this actually, I should get some compost in as well. I've got compost. Well, it's actually tree bark or native mix mulch that's broken down that I've been using for blending as well. But so yeah, that's about well, that's almost, these are 3.5 metre long sleepers. It's about 400 wide, so I reckon that's about 1 square metre that we put in there. So we've gone a little bit, just under half of that. So we set up to 3 square metres. Anyway, we'll mix this in and see how we can improve it. Look at the dryness of the other stuff underneath. Got to get it in here. Now, some of you are probably saying if you just hydrate the soil, it'll probably go nice and fluffy and all that. Well, it probably would for a little bit, but not as good as it needs to when it's got all the extra additives. The natural stuff, we're talking the coconut coir, the charcoal, we're going to put some mulch, chicken manure. You can see how it's blending through. We're getting a bit more texture in it. It's going to need a hell of a lot more than this. It looks good for the short term, but it's just going to have to top dress it again and maybe put some more on top afterwards. Now folks, this isn't a no-dig garden. I'm actually digging it over because it's breaking down and it's dissipating. To create a no-dig garden, you've got to constantly layer it. So you put your compost, mulch, manures and just keep building it up as it depletes. But avoid digging the bottom half of it. But mine's gone super hard. And for me to do that, I've got a lot of garden beds here that I haven't got a mulching machine yet. So for me to be able to do that, I've got to create the mulch, and I simply physically can't get enough happening. So rather than buying it in and use what I do make, and until I invest in a mulcher, I'm basically digging it over, so I'm breaking it up and breaking that crust. Now you can not have to raise it as much by just adding mulch and constantly having your mulch on top so your soil never gets exposed, so that way it doesn't erode away and the sun doesn't kill off the microbe, you know, the flora in the soil. You need that to stay alive and active. So dehydration, too much hot sun is the destruction of the life of your soil. Composting, mulching on top is perfect, and if you go super hard, because I compete against tree roots and all things like that, and the environment is a lot harsher than most gardens, I need to turn it over and break it up. And yes, I sacrifice that network of mycelium and microbes and fungi connecting with plants, but I don't have any perennials in here. These are all annuals. Perennials are vital to keep the life of those microbes active throughout the year, not just the seasonal stuff. And if they stay in here, and I haven't thought this through as far as planting some in here, I might put maybe some herbs like oregano and thyme, sort of dot the corners with it, which will help, because the message relayed from one plant to that microbe, and its search for that nutrient can be far and wide. And I mean not, millimeters, I'm talking meters. They do network like that. It's a crazy world down there. It's one that we still haven't even worked out yet completely. So what I've done at the moment is this here. Simply broken up the existing crap soil that I had and created, look at that, coconut coir, charcoal, black grit, and a little bit of manure. That's all I've done, folks. And that really, just let it rest for a week or two. Or if you haven't put too much manure into it, plant straight away. But before you plant, always mulch, and if you are irrigating, have that below, not on top, because that pipe, and many of you who grab the handle of a hose or the hose itself and turn that water on that's been sitting in the hot baking sun, that first 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, depending the length of your hose, that's going to be boiling water. That water cannot go anywhere near your garden. You do not turn on the tap and instantly go to your plants and hit it with hot water, then wait for the cold water to run. That's scorching you. You never jump in the shower and do that. There may be some of you crazy ones out there, but I don't reckon all of us. That 2% of you out there, congratulations, your skin's like leather, but the plants aren't, and most of the population that I know isn't either. So turn the tap on, let it cool down, and then start hydrating your garden. And if you're going to put the irrigation, put it under the mulch, not on top. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. Support us, like us, follow us, click on all those wonderful buttons they have there so you can see our posts, or subscribe to our newsletter group. We send out a newsletter every morning and we run specials daily, folks. We're nearing the end of our spring sale. Everything's discounted still, and they keep dropping down, going up a little bit, they drop back down. Look out for your favourite product at its discounted price at vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi.